Hello there, this is Ahmos. Today I'll show you how to repair your machine based on Windows 7, how to prepare it to work with it to start your development of Android application for your smartphone. First of all, you need to know the configuration of your machine, so you need to know its system type, 32-bit operating system or is it 64-bit operating system, and the kind of Windows, it's Windows Enterprise 7. This information must be known in order when you start download the software. Let's go to our roadmap right now. So we are in preparing our machine for installing or making an Android application. So this will be based, to make an Android application you need to install a language which we will use the Java development kit, and also an GUI, graphic user interface, which will be the Eclips. Actually, just installing the Java will make you start for Java programming, and by installing the Android SDK-Software development kit, this option, the option of the Java and the Android SDK, both of them together will make you start programming for Android and make an application. But actually this way will give you a lot of time to make an application, so you need a easily use and familiar interface, which we will use the Eclips SDK. And to interface the Java and SDK for the Android, you need the ADT, which is the Android development tools. We'll talk about this issue in our video, so don't worry if you didn't collect all the information in this view and this slide. See, let's start to see what we will start with the installation. First of all, we will try to install Java SE development kit. You can download it. Say start now. So we need to know that if you have installed the Eclips, okay, the GUI for the Eclips, it will not run and will give you a Java runtime environment or a Java development kit, JDK or GRE, must be available in order to run the Eclips. So if you start your installation using the Eclips itself will refuse the installation if it didn't find the Java. So first of all, we need to install the Java. Okay, so if you have it on your machine, you will run it from a certain location, and if not, you will go to java.com/en, okay, or this site also for Oracle. In installation of the Java, you will use SE Java, okay, GDK. Don't try the NetBeans, we will not use it, so we will install the Java platform GDK, and this is the version 7U51. okay, so it's a piece of cake. You will start the installation and it will ask for install the SDK in order this in the folder, show the folder, so you can customize the place of the as a Java. If you don't have enough space in the C drive, you can go to the D drive, and also it's agree for all the development tool and the source code and the public GR, and then the installation will be complete. Close the installation. You may go after the installation of the Java. This installation will route you to the site, so in order to register with Oracle to receive certain articles and stuff like this. So after the installation, this is screenshots for the installation. This installation may take a lot of time, so it's a piece of cake, and anybody who will start programming for Android and programming for Java, this is a piece of cake for him. But actually, the important point after the installation complete, you will go to a site to register my JDK, and this is important point because you will, and this is a site but actually the installation will route you to the site. The main point that your oracle.com account gives you are not right now. You will create an Oracle account and give you access to a variety of online application and services like Oracle Store and Oracle Support, and this will support you in a lot of points, and you can submit questions for them. And actually yes, send emails on Oracle products, services and events to output. Please click OK. So this check this box, because this will make a connectivity and correspondency with the Oracle.com. Okay, you will receive a confirmation for the account and all the security issue and credential to get in the account and submit things. Okay, so this is the point of Java installation. After the installation, the first step you need to know is preparing the environment. So it's a piece of cake, not a big issue. You just go to the system properties, and this is right click on my computer properties and go to the advanced system settings and go to environment variables. And in the environment variables, you will try to get the path. Here is the path. I'll show you something and you will edit it and add something. So let's return back. So the path that lets you any applications that run in your computer, if it didn't find itself in a certain places like the root of the C or like the Windows system 32 stuff like this, it's a start to find and to search for the application, the operating system search for the application inside a certain path. So we'll add the path of the Java. Here we are. It may be D drive according to the installation. We will add the path to this path, the variable path. We will add another addition. We will add by using the semicolon. Okay. So we'll add at the end of this path. You have already a path written, and maybe several passes, and we will add a semicolon. Then we add this portion. C, the program file, Java, JDK 1 point something. It's okay. You can know it by go to the C drive, and programs files and Java. And we will go to the bin. Here we are. So we'll add this path, okay, to the exist path. And you can make sure for that when you run a DOS prompt, CMD. Here is the way, like we talk about. We will add additional. We will not remove. Don't try to remove all paths. Just make a semicolon, add the path, and here we are. If you type, if you go to the CMD like this, CMD command prompt, and you type set here, you will find the path. I know it's very small. You will find path here. The path equal. There is a lot of passes, but but at last we need this to be added. C program file Java GK. Very important point. This is very important point for Java to work. Okay, so this is called this area called settings the variable environment, and we talk about it. The next step right now, we need to know from where we will pick up the the Eclips, the Eclips, which will the Eclips is the place that you will, it's the editor or the editor or the GUI, graphic user interface, that you will use it to type. Without the Eclips you can make programs, but it will be so sophisticated, so why should we do so? So we need a software to work with it, and it will compile and do all the stuff for us. Okay, so we will go to the www.eclips.org download, and when you go there you will find a lot of versions. And as I told you before, that we need to know our operating system is Windows. You will have dual operating system, Linux or something like this. You can work with Linux, here is a site, or Macintosh. So you have 3 operating systems work with it, and you will have several Eclipse editions. Actually I have, you can install the 3. Is a Java IDE, Java developer. You can install it in a 32-bit or 64. You can install EE developer version, and as wish you will work. And there is also a classic one. So try, most people work with the EE developers, and also the GDI is okay. The Java IDE for Java developers is okay. So let's go right now. You will double click on one of these packages, and after that the package will be, let's close this Windows. The package will be installed in your machine. Just download this software. As I told you, after downloading the software, you will go to start installing the Eclipse. By the way, installing the Eclipse is not a big issue. You can just extract, as I told you, there is a Eclipse SDK 3 point something, 32-bit and 64-bit, and there is also another one, the GEE. Okay, so there is a lot of versions, and you can work with all of them. By the way, after extracting this zip file, you can run directly. Go to the inside environment. I'll show you. Here my Android workspace, and here all resources. And after complete unzipping the downloaded files, Indigo or this one, whatever, you can just extract this application Eclipse and send it to your desktop and start working with the Eclipse. Actually, after installing the Eclipse like this, again I stress in the variable environment it must be installed. After installing the Eclipse like in this way, you can start Java programming. You can start making a program in Java. Actually, most people work with the Android software and make a developer and make an Android application must take and must know a little bit on Java, and there is a lot of courses about the Java programming. So you can have a lot of sources on the net, and also you can subscribe to Ahmos Get channel, my channel. You will have some courses in the Java to know how to start programming in Java. So installing the Eclips and the Java will let you start Java programming, okay? And installing the Java and the Android SDK without the Eclips will make you start making an Android application, but like I told you, it will be very hard to make it. So you need something like a software to work. I put this ellipse like this in order to know this together you can make an application, but you need this, and by application for Android, but you need this EDI, our GUI, the graphic user interface, to make it easy to make the programming for Android. And this missed one, the ADT, will talk later about it. Actually, we will not work with the setups. Just a moment, we will not talk about. Okay, after the first run, first time you run the Eclipse, it will ask you about a workspace. A workspace, it is a place that you have your it's default place you have your programs. Actually, you may have several workspaces in the D, in project number one, projects, group 1, and in the D also another folder, projects D2 or whatever. So you can have several workspaces, and actually we will talk about this point later. If you have old workspaces, it's better before running the and direct your Eclipse to this workspaces, it's better to make a backup. Okay, so actually I take all known workspaces. You see I have several workspaces, and pick all the workspaces and put it here in the workspace users. They did have before, they did work with in development Android before. So let's go, and here the first thing that will happen when you start your Eclipse for the first time, you may have old workspaces, so you can point to these workspaces, and all the packages will appear right now here. So it's better to back up your workspaces before doing this step. Before adding the SDK, before adding the SDK, you will not have to make. You can make a project, but you will not have an Android project. You cannot make a new Android project. Like I told you, the Java and the Eclipse together, you can work with Java programming. So if you are starting from scratch, you can work with Java and Eclipse, okay, together. Start your programming in Java, and after that you will need to add this Java to make an application for Android. So you need the SDK, the software development kit, and also the ADT, the Android developer tools. Okay, I hope this is a very important point. This fig illustrates this. So now we need to install the SDK. Okay, so we will go to developer.android, and actually it's a piece also of cake. If you anything like this, just type Android SDK on the Google and it will route you to the right places, developer.android.sdk, and you will have a version 32 or 64 and start download the bundles. You may have the SDK and the ADT together. Okay, you may have a package include both of them, but in our video I'll tell you that we install the SDK separately and then install the ADT, okay, plugin, because this is a plugin for the Eclipse. The ADT is a plugin for the Eclipse. SDK include sample projects with source codes, developer tools, and emulator. You know, after making an application or a project in Android, you need to run it on if you have physical mobile, smartphone, or if you don't have smartphone, so you need emulator. So this emulator is included in the SDK. Okay, so application are written using the Java programming language and run on Dalvik, a customer virtual machine designed for embedding with which run in the top of the Java environment. And this is what include in the package, debugger and emulators. Here's the emulator, something like the mobile. You will see the screen of the mobile, we'll show it later. And this is very important because it will be easily to run emulator on your desktop than compiling to direct physical smartphone. By the way, the physical smartphone is pretty faster than the emulators. So if you want to customize the time, compiling to the mobile smartphone will be easier and quick. So is the SDK also installation. You will go next, choosing to everybody or make it to anyone. Choose this place for the SDK files, and you must remind, write in a certain note all the passes in order for your packing and stuff like this. And if you have a problem, you can solve it easily later. It's asking, do you want to run the SDK manager? Again, this is completely separated than on the Eclipse, because you may have other GUI than the Eclipse. There's NetBeans and stuff like this. So this is separate than the Eclipse right now. After that, the Android SDK manager is asking, do you want to run the Android SDK manager? You will say yes, and it will start a process for downloading and updating. A lot of updates will be right now downloaded from the net. And here the Android SDK and AVD manager. AVD is the virtual device, Android virtual device, I mean virtual smartphone. The emulator, it means the emulator that you are currently using has been updated. We complete the emulators, download the emulators and the SDK. It is recommended that you now close the manager. Sorry for this message. You close the manager and reopen it. If you use Eclipse, this is a very important point, because if you use Eclipse, this means that you may use another graphic user interface and compiler. You may use another one than the Eclipse. Please run the help and check updates from the Eclipse. Here we are. You may check the updates in the help to start. Let's close the Eclipse. May hang for me. Okay, and you can now, right now, we can start to download the ADT, which will be the last step. So we'll go to Developer Android Tools, SDK Eclipse, and start the ADT download. It's Eclipse ADT. Okay, you will have a lot of ADTs and you may need most of them. Why? Actually, if you did program before, make a programs before with certain ADT, and your workspace have some old programs, so you need to install all the ADTs that you make your packages before with it. Okay, this one is the latest one, but actually after the Eclips open and start in a workspace, that it's you may pick up some programs, some packages from other people. So in preparation of the workspace is start to check these packages created with which ADT and start to install this, download these packages. So let's start. After now we will go to add repository from the Eclips. Let's open our Eclips right now. First of all, this is the package I told you about it, because these packages is a lot of packages. So this one may be used with a certain ADT and this one with another ADT. So when preparing the workspace, you need all the ADTs to be installed, so all the versions. So for that reason I told you that it will may take time to start your Eclips at the first when you first start. And here we are, we will go right now. We are starting to install new software. And here we will add, let's minimize this window. Okay, it looks so big. Okay, and here we are. We type whatever you want to type here, but actually we type ADT plugin and start to add a certain location, okay, to directly download from the net. But if you did download it, so you will work with archive. You say I have an archive, okay, so we will not go to this process downloading direct from the net. Actually we'll go later to the net. It must go to the net, but actually we have the archive. We did download it right now. So let's go to help and install new software. I showed before, and you add an archive, and here this one is the 18. Yani I didn't install the 23, so it's okay. Here in another place, another installation, I install the 23 and just add the archive and choose the file, ADT file. It will go ask you to draw the here. You will have the development kit and development tool and the monitoring tool and the DMS. We will talk about all these issues later in our videos. Installation goes smooth and it will use the net. A lot of data will be downloaded, accepts and installations till you have completely update all the. You need to restart the Eclips and then may ask you after all that you open the SDK manager again and start. It will start again. The SDK will download its update also. So you have update from ADT and SDK, and here the Android SDK manager. All this you will work with it from the Android itself. Okay, so from the Windows, go to Android SDK manager. Okay, and start to check for updates starting Android SDK manager, and it will check the environment and the workspace and check what's kind of updates you needed. Okay, so it's now going to the net and check, and you type here you have 2 or 3 installed package. You need to install packages, and this will be according to this applications, I mean this packages that you already you have in your workspace. Okay, that's all. After that you can create your first application. You can create your first Android application. Like we talk about, there is a lot of versions. It's up to you to use whatever. From the experience, I use this one, Indigo, and there is the Juno, the double E IDE. So it's okay. It's up to you to work with any one of these versions. You can swap between workspaces. So at any time you can swap between workspaces. It's good to show it here. We can switch workspaces, and this will make the machine the Eclips restart again. So we can, where you have, see here we can work with WS, for example, 3, and say okay. And it's better not putting all your application in one workspace, because maybe problem with the workspace will make your application not work good. So here the version of ADT required and doing SDK 23 above. So this is because this is other packages we did develop it before in a certain workspace. So here the Eclips they start preparing the workspace, so asking to open the manager and check for the updated software in order to work with these 2 new packages, the Dropbox tutorial 2 and the A234 something. So this maybe I created before, and I use different ADT and different SDK. So that's what I want to say. When you change the workspace and go to other packages, all packages, if the workspace is free, nothing inside it, it's okay. But if there is already packages, so as you see right now, there is a missed 8 packages, and I'll start install it and accept in order to run these 2 applications. Thank you for watching, and see you in the other Android development videos. I hope this video is useful for you. This